Mr. Moss.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Thanks for having me tonight. First, I want to say everyone's done an excellent job presenting tonight. Wow, that's a lot of information. I'm coming to you as a concerned parent, lifelong Shrewsbury resident, former captain of the Shrewsbury High School varsity football team in 1990. So it's nice to hear we beat St. John's. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, we lost to them back then. But, you know, in playing football, I was on the Oak natural grass field 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that's, you know, we played in 8th grade back then, so it was 8th through senior year, so 5 years of that. So I've had some experience with the natural grass fields and playing on that. I wanted to reiterate from the last time that we're supportive of what the Turf Committee is attempting to do and to meet the district goals of improving the athletic fields and infrastructure, so we're supportive of that. What I do have here in my hand is you know, a petition we had that is signed by 112 residents of Shrewsbury that is you know, supportive of making improvements. We're recognizing that there needs to be improvements. However, we're saying that artificial turf, regardless of the infill, is not as cost effective nor as low maintenance as it's marketed to be. Poses serious health and environmental concerns and is not the preferred playing surface for the majority of athletes. A safer and lower cost alternative is organically managed natural grass fields. It's asking, please do not approve the installation of artificial turf fields at the Shrewsbury High School. So just to go over a couple of things, we've heard a lot about extended use. So I just wanted to read something from the Gale Associates report funded by the boosters, the Shrewsbury High School Athletic Campus Evaluation and Feasibility Study that was out in June of 2015. This is a quote from it. The resultant feasibility study is intended to determine the viability of redeveloping and reconfiguring the existing athletic field areas to include a new synthetic turf game field at the stadium facility. So that was the original objective right out of the gate. So we're kind of saying, where is the option of natural grass and getting some of this deeper information that's being presented for synthetic, also for natural grass. Also in this report, Gale Associates goes on to say, though everyone agrees that a natural turf field in pristine condition is the best and safest playing surface, goes on to say, synthetic turf, however, is preferable to an under-maintained or frozen natural turf field. Again, let me reiterate what the Gale Associates report did say. Though everyone agrees that a natural turf field in pristine condition is the best and safest playing surface, synthetic turf, however, is preferable to an under-maintained or frozen natural turf field. The report goes on to say that the stadium field is in fair to poor condition. Maybe, just to add in there, maybe due to the 14 years without the attention it needed to maintain it, to keep it in that more well-maintained, pristine condition. In the last meeting, we heard that there was less than 100 uses on the field because of that. But a well-maintained natural grass field can hold 250 to 300 uses. So that's almost a 2.5 to 3 time increase in extending the use. So that's a huge increase if we look at investing in natural grass. The kind of the use that goes beyond that, up to probably 700 uses. We'd like to say, can we take a step back and take a look at this in more detail? Because I think there's, you know, a lot of questions around this and specifics that we need, maybe given a baseline of hours of usage by each team. Right now there's football and soccer. Maybe we take a look at what is expected by that, and then a baseline of what's used, and then also if we're going to add lacrosse and field hockey on there, what would that take it to? Would it take it from 100 to 200, and would that fit within the extended use? And is the extended use really going to lead us into this, rental process? So, that gets into the fiscal responsibility, where we need to be fiscally responsible. We should plan on that 8-year warranty, right? If we're going to be using it more, I know Mr. Sammy brought up a good point last time, the more we use it to pay for the replacement, the more we're going to wear it down. So maybe the higher the cost is going to be. So I think that was a good example, 500 hours of use, which at 2.5 hours a use is 200 uses. So that's saying that we might plan to do 200 uses. So if we're at 100 uses now, plus 200, it's 300 uses. I'm sure there's more to it, but I mean, that's why I'm trying to say I think there's more to look at in here. And given that the public's going to would want to see this, because that eventual responsibility is going to go to the taxpayer. So maybe, has the finance committee of the town been, had a take on this to say, is this something that we're going to have to, because we've seen other towns out there struggling to replace their fields with these rental fees. Then you get into, we've heard from other towns that there's issues with the youth sports league. So they're kind of promised a lot, like, help us fund this, we're for this. And in the end, they're found, well, sorry, we can't get it, the cost is going to be a little bit higher for you, or we really got to replace this field, so you were going to go for the tournament this Saturday and not the youth sport league. So there has been some talk in other towns that we've talked to that here they are funding and having funds taken away from their snack shack or registration fees. That's going to end up going to replacing fields and not towards the sport itself. So we're kind of going to be hooked into this endless loop of paying and repaying for these artificial turf fields. So the other thing is chemicals. So we talked about chemicals, a lot of material safety data sheets. We're proposing organic management, which University of Lowell Toxic Use Reduction Institute, hence in its name, toxic use reduction, is the true innovation. True innovation is to look at something and say, do we want to increase the toxic exposure or decrease it? So we're planning to take out that equation of balancing fertilizers and pesticides. We want to go organic. And that is a lower cost as of the cost analysis report by the Turry Institute. So we're actually proposing a lower cost, safer option, healthier option for the kids. Might not get as much extended use. We know there's a kind of cap there between 250 and 300, but how much are we in the rental business as we are into giving time to our athletes? The turf field's going to be over our aquifer, so it just happens to be that the high school and the athletic fields are over near enough to the town's drinking water wells to put them in the Shrewsbury's Aquifer Protection Overlay District. So shouldn't we be concerned for our town's drinking water if we're going to have all this material there over years and years and years? Some of the examples of that. Antimicrobials, disinfectants, biocides, fungicides, herbicides, flame retardants, plasticizers, UV stabilizers, anti-static treatments, solvents, paints, paint removers, even recommended biodegradable weed killers such as Roundup, which the World Health Organization is now saying is a probable human carcinogen. So we're going to be spraying all this stuff. We're going to have things there for 16 years, the microban coated sand. So, even though it's encapsulated in the acrylic coating, what about the respirable dust that's coming off of that, over years? And, that's going to be coming off and people are going to be breathing that in. That itself is probably the most salient concern is this microban, which relate to endocrine disruption and bioaccumulation. And we talked about maybe not using that, but we went from, are we going to maybe use crumb rubber based on the budget we were given, gone to EnviroFill with microban, maybe we won't use microban, but if 99% use microban, why are they using it? What if we don't use it? What risk do we have? Do we have more risk of MRSA, which is a big thing that's listed under also Turry Institute's concerns? So we're going to increase our MRSA risk by not having microbans. So why are they coating the sand? Silica sand is a level 1 carcinogen from respirable dust. Are we coating it to? So some of these questions, I'm just trying to raise these to say these are a lot of questions raised that maybe we should be bringing back, getting more information on, so that we can, make a decision, because this decision is going to be with us for a long time to come. Maybe we need our Board of Health to weigh in on it as well. Maybe the Board of Health will say we don't want all this once we review the material safety data sheet. So I just thinking, we're supportive of improvements. We think there's a better option, lower cost, safer option that we haven't looked into enough. We hope that you will take our feedback into consideration and look at that option before you make a decision on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. Next, Catherine Rashwani has to speak.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Rajwani. I grew up in Shrewsbury, played town soccer, and attended Shrewsbury schools, as did my parents. I left to attend college in New York City and then lived and worked in a number of states, including California, Pennsylvania, and Texas. After having children of my own, I persuaded my husband to move to Shrewsbury. I wanted to return in large part because I had not seen and could not imagine a better place to raise my own children. I came back for the schools, community, and my family. We could not be happier with our choice. Each teacher our children have had at Spring Street School has been exceptional. The school administration consistently exceeds our expectations. My husband coaches our son's soccer team. We enjoy volunteering at Spring Street, and in general feel lucky to be part of this community. My friends in nearby towns tell me how fortunate we are to live in Shrewsbury, and I couldn't agree more. The thoughtful decision-making that this committee and our superintendent engage in on a daily basis should be, and I believe is, sincerely appreciated by all of us. I come here today not as an adversary, but as a thankful beneficiary of all that you do for my family. Despite this sincere gratitude, I cannot sit idly by without participating in the public process and providing my feedback on the town's athletic campus improvement plans project. I believe it would be irresponsible for the members of the school committee to approve phase 1 of the improvement plan, about which many significant details remain unknown and many valid concerns have been raised. Before casting your vote, I hope the committee members will take a hard look at the potential long-term health and environmental consequences. In a rush to push this plan through, several myths appear to be informing the conversation. Myth 1, artificial turf fields without crumb rubber infill are safe. It is shocking that anyone in this day and age could deny the inherent negatives associated with plastic fields. This is the replacement of cooling, oxygen-producing, carbon dioxide absorbing grass and dirt with a foot of rock overlaid with synthetic fiber made from petrochemicals and treated with flame retardants and lead, which is then routinely maintained with chemical antimicrobials, static conditioners, solvents, fungicides, and Roundup. And those are just the ones we are aware of. According to David Heath in an article published by Vice News and the Center for Public Integrity, while there are more than 80,000 chemicals available for commercial use, the EPA over the past 30 years has assessed the health risks of only 570. It doesn't matter how many studies the artificial turf industry underwrites or how many white coats they hire. We've got to be smarter than this. Myth 2, our children need pristine playing fields. While I appreciate the appeal of perfectly groomed fields, that is neither a realistic nor appropriate goal for our community. The all-or-nothing attitude that our stadium field either remains in a state of dangerous neglect or is replaced by a multi-million-dollar installation that rivals the best golf courses does not allow for a happy medium where our field is upgraded and maintained for safety. This is real life, where perfect bounces don't exist and perfection isn't a virtue. Learning to cope with manageable obstacles cultivates psychological resilience, which allows children to rebound from adversity as strengthened and more resourceful individuals. As Shrewsbury's athletic success attests, our children's strength lies not in their school facilities, but in their determination, athleticism, coaching, and resilience. Myth 3, without artificial turf, Shrewsbury athletics will suffer. Fortunately, the current debate has brought the important issue of field maintenance to the forefront. Everyone knows the high school needs a new stadium field and upgraded facilities, quickly. But there are lots of ways to solve these challenges without driving away would-be athletes with the use of plastic fields. We need to take a good look at all the resources we have: community involvement, generous donors, landscapers experienced in green methods, town monies, a horticultural vocational program, and build a sustainable plan from there. It's time to stop drinking the artificial turf Kool-Aid. Perhaps we should follow the wise examples of Concord and Littleton and other towns that are passing 3-year moratoriums on the installation of artificial turf fields. And in the meantime, let's put our heads and wallets together to make this project something of which the entire community can be truly proud. Thank you.
Thank you.